Alexander Isak suffers with a suspected broken leg and is expected to spend a lengthy amount of time on the sidelines. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to center around a horrible topic, but we need to talk about it. It's this man right here, Alexander Isak, now of Liverpool, of course, who is expected to spend a lengthy amount of time on the sidelines as he recovers from what is being said as a suspected broken leg. That is what a lot of journalists and news publications and the mainstream media are putting out there, that Alexander Isak has suffered with a broken leg. And the main man that is driving that is, of course, David Ornstein, who you know for a fact that if he's reporting on it, there is a lot of credibility and weight behind his words. How severe the injury is has not yet been confirmed by the club at the time of recording, but of course a broken leg is a broken leg. It's going to be a lengthy amount of time to recover from, and depending on how severe it is, will obviously depend on whether it's just a few months or could be even as long as over a year. We're going to be talking about it, of course. It's a horrible topic. I don't really want to talk about it, but of course it is newsworthy. We have to discuss it. Hit the like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you're new, and obviously get involved in the comment section. All of that good stuff will be very much appreciated. Let's talk about the injury and where Liverpool go from here, and Isak himself. So first and foremost, at the top of the bill, get well soon and speedy recovery to Alexander Isak. Hopefully, he does get all the help and treatment that he needs, and hopefully he's back on the pitch ASAP, firing again on all cylinders. Because, you know, injuries are horrible, no matter who they are to. I wouldn't wish an injury on any player, whether they're rival or anyone else for that matter. I wouldn't wish an injury on anybody. Hopefully, Isak gets back on the pitch as soon as possible in a speedy recovery way. Second of all, I don't want to see any abuse or anything like that hurled at Mickey van de Ven. Of course, as we know, Isak scored the opening goal in the game between Liverpool and Tottenham at the weekend, but it was a bittersweet moment because not only did he get his second Premier League goal of the season, but that goal and the involvement and the situation of the goal also led to his leg break. Mickey van de Ven goes in for a challenge, and it's a bit of like a tangle of legs, and that's what causes Isak to break his leg mere seconds before the ball hits the back of the net from Isak's shot. Don't want to see any abuse hurled at Van de Ven. You know, I don't believe he's gone in with any malicious or horrible intent to injure Isak. I think it's basically just a coming together. He's trying to obviously block the ball or make a crunching challenge on Isak to take the ball away, whichever way it is. He's just horribly mistimed it, and these things can happen. You know, it is a contact sport. We're not anticipating or expecting it to be non-contact or anything along those lines. These injuries do happen. We've seen them down the years. We've seen these moments play out. It is what it is on that regard. However, I do think the Premier League does need to look at challenges like these. And the reason I say that is because just because the ball hit the back of the net is not, in my opinion, sufficient punishment enough. Isak had only just came on the pitch. He came on as a substitute at half-time. 15 minutes later, he puts Liverpool a goal up, and he's then forced off injured with an injury that obviously didn't look good in the moment, and obviously with what everybody is saying and what the mainstream media and journalists are running with, doesn't sound good ever since. But Van de Ven didn't even get a yellow card for it. There wasn't any sort of punishment in the direction of Mickey van de Ven for injuring Alexander Isak. And again, I'm not calling for it necessarily to be like horrible towards Van de Ven in any way. I'm sure he's very sorry for what happened and all of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, in saying that, I still think there should have been punishment for Van de Ven in some way, shape or form, because at the end of the day, Liverpool are having to sacrifice another substitute for a substitute due to obviously Isak being injured. I know these things can happen, but for a leg break like this, I don't think just going a goal down was sufficient punishment enough for what is a poor challenge. Case in point, if that challenge happens anywhere else on the pitch after the ball is being played, that's a foul. That is a foul, and obviously if it does end in a leg break, that is a red card. Just because the ball hits the back of the net should not dictate what the punishment or lack of punishment in this situation is for the person who is making the challenge. I know it may seem a little harsh, but I just think, in my opinion, like, these things kind of go unpunished a little bit. And I'm sure there are other examples about a player suffering a horrible injury or potentially suffering with a horrible injury in the moment with these kinds of challenges that happen, but the person making the challenge kind of gets away with it a little bit, or maybe receives a lesser punishment than the one he probably should have got. I know, like I say, I just think the Premier League needs to look at it. I do think that there are certain situations like this that probably need to be addressed, and I wouldn't be... And I do think that maybe the Premier League does need to look at these kinds of things and go, right, should Van de Ven have probably been sent off for that kind of challenge? Why was there no punishment? Should a goal be enough punishment? Probably not. Those kinds of questions. So I personally think that should be the case. Again, I'm not blaming Van de Ven. I'm not like kind of trying to hurl abuse at him or anything, because he was just, like I say, in this situation, he's probably the wrong player, wrong place at the wrong time, whatever the case may be. And obviously, I believe he's not trying to go in with any intent to harm or hurt Alexander Isak. He's just trying to do his job. So again, I hope there's no abuse hurled at him, but I do think the Premier League does need to look at this kind of thing and maybe address it further on down the line. Another element of this story that I've seen, this one is an online element, is rival fans and especially Newcastle fans that are over the moon, seemingly, by this news that Isak has broken his leg. The irony is that they believe, most of them at least, believe it to be karma for the whole Liverpool and Newcastle and Isak saga that played out in the summer of 2025. The irony being is that if they genuinely did believe in karma, then by putting this stuff out there that it's good, you are maybe tempting fate that maybe a big name player at your club could be suffering with a similar or maybe even worse injury than what Isak has picked up in this situation. So I'm just wanted to throw that out there just in case there are morons that are celebrating this injury, because there are. If you go online and you look at topics under Alexander Isak's name, you will find people that are happy, gleeful, joyous, celebratory about how Alexander Isak's injury has occurred, the potential severity of it. They are happy that he has suffered a leg break. And to those people, I say that you are genuinely horrible. You are horrible, horrible, horrible people. And like, I don't understand what do you get out of celebrating someone's injury? What exactly do you get out of that? Some really low-level, pathetic satisfaction? I personally don't get it. I wouldn't celebrate injury on any United player, any Chelsea player, Arsenal, City, you name them. I'm not there happy about it. If anything, I'm wishing that they will be back on the pitch soon and they'll get back to their best and all of that kind of stuff, because I like competition. I don't even wish injury on someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, who of course left Liverpool in controversial circumstances. I don't wish injury on them. I don't wish injury on... And I've never wished injury on any player that has seemingly disrespected my club in any sort of way. Yes, I hope they don't play well, and I hope that they kind of, be underwhelming in terms of a performance level, but I've never wished harm or injury on anyone like that. So what exactly do you get out of it? But yet, there are Newcastle fans out there, and there are some seemingly credible or big Newcastle fan accounts that are somewhat happy that Alexander Isak suffered this injury. I don't personally get it. I personally do not get it. And again, it ties into the whole don't hurl abuse at Mickey van der Ven, because the same people that are going to be angry that Newcastle fans are celebrating Isak's injury are going to be the same ones that are probably going to be hurling abuse at Van der Ven, and the hypocrisy there. I just don't want anyone to be one of them people. Don't want anyone in this community to be, and I certainly will not be. So I'm really hoping that is that's not the case. I'm hoping that it's just one of those things where we look at it and go, all right, we've been dealt a bad hand here. How do we go about how do we go about dealing with this situation, and obviously going through this situation? And obviously for Isak, it's about a speedy recovery. I'm hoping for fans, it's about just going, you know what, we send our best wishes to Isak on a speedy recovery. And for the Premier League, maybe to be like, right, how do we look at this and maybe learn from this kind of thing? Because, like I say, I think it is something that the Premier League, the challenge part, the challenge element is definitely something that I think the Premier League does need to look at. But like I say, at the time of recording, we don't know the severity of the Alexander Isak injury, but it is suspected that the Swedish striker has broke a leg in of course the game against Tottenham at the weekend. Obviously, leave your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you call it, down below in the comments section. Mainly your best wishes, of course, to Alexander Isak. Hit the like button on the way if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're new. Mainly hitting the like button for if you kind of like agree with my points that I made about fan reaction, and not obviously if you like the video on someone breaking their leg. That's crazy. But yes, all of that good stuff, very much appreciated by me. Thank you all for your continued and brand new love and support to the channel. Really do appreciate it. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll soon speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers guys, thanks everyone for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.